Thank you for tuning in to Andronetalks Radio, gathering as one in our sovereign truth from a galactic perspective, exploring our world with new ideas, knowledge, and a promise of a better future. Galactic discussions for galactic-minded people. Andronetalks.
Hello, and thank you for joining us today on Andronetalks News. So we have some updates, and as usual, there's a lot of things going on, and we had, different comments, different questions about things, but we'll get into that in a bit. I just want to start off with this article right here because Facebook has kind of been a challenge for me, for many other people as well, and here's an interesting article of Mark Zuckerberg learning that there was an infiltration on Facebook. And here's an interesting article about it and saying that there's security briefs. Well, I mean, this seems to be security briefs everywhere these days. The hackers have gotten pretty good at what they do, which forces those that are securing places to be even better. And that will probably continue going back and forth in the future. However, I just want to tell everyone I do have some good news that I have actually gotten my Facebook account back from a really nice woman who was helped me out. She works for Facebook, and she actually helped me get it back from a scam artist who has been offering free money from claiming to be from the government, claiming to have means to give people money if they qualify, and in the meantime they were fishing for private information, and it may not have looked like it was a scam to a lot of people. However, we don't know what the private information, what they're doing with it. So I deeply apologize. I through a friend, I accidentally connected to this woman, and she's done some research. She is located somewhere in Arizona, or it's a group of them, have talked to the authorities about it. It became a really big deal, but I still think that that person is out and about and doing, and this group or whatever they are still scamming people. If you have any information or you want to share, and we can continue to look into this if people want. But this is my account that I have just gotten back, and something that I had for many years. I want to show you. So this is the new picture that I've been using. So those of you that know my other account, it's under Jessica Marrocco. So that's the picture I was using for that. And okay, so moving on. We have fake news. And so what I started to say earlier is that, what is fake news? Right now, we're questioning everything in the media. And there are different groups that are trying to put news out there. And sometimes we stumble on news sites that are, have credibility and not credibility, although the story is just kind of rewoven a bit and changed to be a little bit more fantastic or not, or to have another way to describe what happened for, exaggerated purposes. But anyhow, at this point, everything is up for question. And so this article right here says 58%. This article came from Newsmax, and on July 10th, 2021, saying that the Rasmussen poll says 58% of the media is the enemy of the people. And the voters agree that the media outlets are the enemy of the people, and 36% disagree. Here is the poll results that break down. And so, you could see, and it's going into the political parties and so forth. But I think, it's okay to question. I think it's good to question. However, I think the individual that was questioning me had also a questionable background and was on, I searched for their information. The picture looks a little odd. And also that there was no content on their YouTube channel, which makes them suspect for trolling and other sources. So I still, anything is possible. We're trying to provide information for people to sort through. I am not the ultimate authority, but neither is anyone else at this point. I think anyone is subject to scrutiny. I think we need to do that, and I do appreciate the honest people that have been following, that try to point out certain things. I'm not 100% perfect, and I will never claim to be so, but most of my content, I would say 98% of my content has been somewhat accurate regarding news stories and information, and we see multiple validations on that. So regarding the news, and I'm not just talking about psychic ability and so forth, but anyhow, so here is I just want to do an update on what's going on in Florida. Condo collapsed. There's 78 amid search that 14 more bodies were recovered in the search. I mean, this terrible situation. I did talk to Peter briefly about it, and he said that there was something off dimension or something hidden. It was a spacecraft, not a space. It was like a military craft that had something to do with it. And we'll have to get more into that at some point and get some background information about what happened there. But I saw that it was not like a direct energy weapon. Only it was something a little bit more complex because it did resemble the Oklahoma bombing, the appearance. And anyhow, so we're moving on for that. Here is an explosion that happened in the substation in Houston, Texas, and the personnel requesting additional units. You can see, I think we can play this, but I'll take the sound off, and you can see this thing is pretty bad. This is an attack on our electrical grids. And I know that so many nefarious groups want this to happen, think that this should happen. They want to cut off communication. I've talked about this for years. This is their dream, that they can just get us to stop communicating and talking. Let's set the highest intention that they can't do this. I even heard someone once say that, in order to reset the planet, we really need to shut down all the grids. And immediately I thought that was suspect, that they were part of the agenda, and departed from those individuals, particularly for that reason. Anyone that says that you have to cut off communication, reset everything, I understand that there's AI and so forth, and those that are trying to come in and spy on us, but they're not necessarily using the grid. They can use satellite and all sorts of other types of tools to accomplish that. So I think mostly if they can get us to stop communicating, create mass hysteria and violence, and no means for people to contact any authorities or assistance, that's their a dream. So that's a dream for them, because they're nefarious and they're sadistic and they want to see humanity suffer. This is the same group, astral beings moving through people that appear to be just normal, regular people, authorities, or those even in the disclosure group that are being used to send that kind of information that this is necessary. So let's just, and I think that sometimes people are not aware that they're spreading information that's part of the agenda. And so let's ask for assistance, let's help, and those that are of a clear conscience and good, have a moral compass of some sort, have a good soul, sometimes make mistakes. That's okay. Let's help them along, and let's work together in this. There's earthquakes. I'm hearing about earthquakes, a lot of different things happening. Here is some extreme rainfall. This is extreme rainfall in Texas. And you're going to see that, look at that. So I know that flooding can happen, but, it's pretty weird because it's happening a bunch of different places. So we'll stop that. And that's in Texas. This is New York City. So that was Texas. This is New York City. Take a look at this. I mean, it's crazy, the flooding. And now, I believe this is the subway. And you can see these people just, trying to get through the subway. It's just crazy. Here is this is interesting. There's a lot of fireworks, lots and lots of fireworks that, we've been having fireworks displays for, I don't know, as long as I can remember. I don't know exactly the date of when we started with fireworks and our celebration. I probably could research it and look it up, but I think the point that I'm trying to get at is suddenly it appears that nobody knows how to work with fireworks, which doesn't make any sense. And there are trucks and there are stores where you can legally purchase fireworks, and so there's transporting of fireworks. That's been going on for a very long time, and suddenly they're exploding inside the vehicles. So made me question what's going on here regarding fireworks. Here is this place looks like a war zone in San Bernardino. Let's play that. See if it'll come up. So we get that. Now it looks like a war zone. It's crazy. I mean, these pyrotechnics, and they're, people are used to fireworks going off, but I mean, look at that. So, truck carrying fireworks explodes in Pembroke. Pembroke, New York, July 4th. Truck driver is safe this morning after his truck exploded in Genesee County. This happened on South Lake Road in Pembroke just before midnight. Pembroke's fire says that the truck was carrying fireworks. The assistant fire chief was only a few miles away. The driver of the truck was able to escape and call 911. We're told the flames were as high as the power lines, and debris from the fireworks explosions extended 1,000 feet down the road and into the yards. And I don't know if they'll... So there's that, and here's another one. This happened. Video explode fireworks. Toledo, Ohio, fireworks accident, 4 hurt. I don't recall ever seeing this many problems regarding fireworks. I mean, this, I think, was a group of less professionals, but even still, I mean, look at that. I mean, that seemed pretty dangerous. And, almost looks like that's more than fireworks, I mean, of course you can see that there are fireworks still coming out of there, so it's not. But what is this all about? It's crazy. Exclusive video shows huge fireworks explosion in Upper Manhattan. Police search for suspects. And let's see if I can. Fireworks are an issue every summer in New York City, but these are on another level. Video circulating online and provide eyewitnesses news exclusively by the New York Police Department shows a massive firework explosion. Let's see if we can get that. Well, here, I mean, they're showing more of some of the tornado Elsa, but and subway flooding. Here's the subway flooding that I was saying about earlier. I think this video was a little weird. I was having trouble seeing anything regarding the fireworks, but instead they showed all the flooding, and you can see this is a literal nightmare. I've been to New York City. I have definitely been on the subways. I've been in the subways in Boston, and usually they're equipped with drainage and everything. So that to me seems a little weird that there was this much water, and even in the streets you can see the water just flooding in. So that's quite a bit of water. It's unnatural, that's for sure. And here's more saying that it's regarding Storm Elsa, which was supposed to hit heavily in Florida, but never really hit heavily in Florida. Seemed to move up north, more to New Jersey and New York. Here's another weird thing that's been happening. Iowa amusement parks become a political force before an accident. The amusement park where a water ride accident killed one boy and critically injured another has become increasingly influential in Iowa politics as the state has trended Republican. Adventureland, that's interesting that they put that in there. Adventureland Park CEO Michael Krantz has donated $175,000 to the county, state, and federal Republican candidates, office holders since 2014. That makes him one of the largest GOP donors. In Iowa, the park has also stepped up in lobbying of the Republican-controlled Iowa legislature. So, but I guess there was an accident that happened there. Interesting. Okay, as of accidents plague popular rides, headlines across the country have been abundant with news of shocking theme park accidents in the last several weeks, some of them fatal. Last month in Tennessee, boy got caught under a Missouri roller coaster and was seriously injured. And early June, a woman died from internal bleeding after sustaining an injury while riding a roller coaster in Indiana. It was ruled an accident. The likelihood of dying on a roller coaster is pretty low, with odds at roughly 1 in 750 million, according to the International Association of Amusement Parks. But when injuries do happen, they can be life-changing and tragic, and accidents suspended in the air are certainly frightening. Here's a look at some of the most recent amusement park accidents. Some did not result in injury in the United States. So here's one in Branson. I mean, here's like all these different ones. One in Phoenix, Six Flags. And I suppose that these happened, but it just seemed like there was more news about it. It's almost like the things that people do for fun. Getting hurt. Here's Iowa. I think we talked about this one. Yep, he got killed. Mother, age 47, dies after roller coaster ride. Michigan carnival ride disaster. Video shows bystanders rush to stop magical carpet from falling over. Take a look at this. And look at it rocking. And so it's going around, and it's clearly not stable. And then some of the bystanders are rushing over there to hold it down so it doesn't flip over and harm all those people. It's a good thing that people were aware and saw what was going on. Yeah, just strange. It's almost like different reasons for people. It's almost like the astral doesn't want humanity to be happy. They don't want them to enjoy life, to do the simple things, for families to get together. It's and I don't think that I'm exaggerating. I think there was everything, all of this is happening right around the same time. It's not spread out. So I don't think I'm reading into this. I really feel that there is an energy there. So let's send protection to families, children, and whatever any normal activities that people are doing to try to enjoy life after the lockdown, because they clearly don't want humanity to be happy at this point. Here is a bomb threat in Fort Lauderdale International Airport. Travelers were evacuated. That was, let's see if I can get the date here, July 10th. So Hollywood, Florida International Airport were evacuated Saturday morning after a security investigation impacted traffic into the airport. The FFL Airport's official Twitter account on Saturday afternoon gave an update saying the security investigation has been cleared and advised travelers to check with their airlines for updated flight info before heading to FLL Airport. And yeah, here's the announcement. So there's a lot happening in Florida. We understand about, the incident with the building that collapsed. And it seems like there's quite a bit of energy tension, something going on in Florida too. Here we go. This is kind of another what I said, trying to shut down the grids. Lebanon struck by power cut as many major plants are shut down. It's not just happening in the U.S. The intention is for it to be a global shutdown. 2 main power plants were switched off on Friday, plunging much of the country into near and total blackout. The shutdown caused by the 2 plants running out of fuel worsens a crisis that has seen people receive just 2 hours of electricity a day. Lack of foreign currency has made it hard to pay overseas energy suppliers. Pharmacies have gone on strike over medicine shortages caused by failure to pay foreign importers. So, and there's pressure in other nations. Here's more information regarding the Lytton fire up in BC. TSB investigating whether the train sparked Lytton fire. So they're looking to find a legitimate reason how this happened. And this is what the Transportation Safety Board of Canada is sending a team of investigators to Lytton to find out whether a train is to blame for the devastating wildfire that all but completely destroyed the village last week. It's a whole village. At this time, the fire is believed to be human caused, but exactly how has yet to be determined. Human caused fire is any fire that was not caused by lightning. Speculation swirled that the train sparked a brush fire. Conditions at the time were extremely dry and quite windy. And in the days leading up to the fire, Lytton broke the record for the highest ever recorded temperature in Canada. So, it still doesn't explain why some of the trees were not burnt down during this whole process. Let's see if we have any footage here. So you can see, you know, and there's an article that you can listen to what some of the people have to say. Okay, to the next topic. Just keep mindful that there are also sea creatures and other animals that died from this unnatural heat wave that we had. And whether it's from our magnetic pole switch and other things that are impending or we're being threatened with. Let's, you know, as I said, hold the highest intention so that our world can stay intact and protect not only humanity but also animal life. So here is the Pacific region hitting record-setting temperatures the last few weeks. A new study from Canada shows that heat waves' enormous impact on marine life. An estimated 1 billion sea creatures on the coast of Vancouver have died as a result of heat, researchers said. But the number is likely to be higher, said Professor Christopher Harley from the University of British Columbia. I've been working in the Pacific Northwest for most of the past 25 years and have not seen anything like this here. He said, this is far more extensive than anything I've ever seen. The die-off could have a ripple effect beyond the shore. And you can see all the clams there, which is a food source. Harvard, MIT, this is News Home, Harvard, MIT quantum computing breakthrough. We are entering a completely new part of the quantum world. Team of physicists from the Harvard MIT Center for the Ultra-Cold Atoms and other universities has developed a special type of quantum computer known as programmable quantum simulator, capable of operating with 256 quantum bits or qubits. The system marks a major step towards building large-scale quantum machines that could be used to shed light on a host of complex quantum processes and eventually help bring about real-world breakthroughs in material science, communication technologies, finance, and many other fields, overcoming research hurdles that are beyond the capabilities of even the fastest computers today. Qubits are the fundamental building blocks in which quantum computers run and the source of their massive processing power. It all sounds impressive and exciting, but on the other hand, what right do they have messing around with our quantum field? There is no ethical responsibility for the ultimate impact of experimenting on a field that affects the entire planet. I'm not against higher education, but higher education with a purpose, not contrary to the existence of humanity. And that's my view. I'm still open to anyone else's view on that. Here's an interesting article from Gizmodo. Super salty water would have erased some evidence of life on Mars. I think everyone's trying to say, well, how is it that there was life on Mars before, and where are all these different facilities that everyone talks about? Of course, many talk about it being underground, but Of course, we don't have full access and view of everything because we don't have the technology to view things, and a lot of the governments, if they do have information, you know, they may wait another 50 years before what's happening currently is revealed, and that's typically how it's been going. That we usually get the information another 50 years later, so we're always far behind on intel and information. The newly discovered rocks with their histories wiped clean are still considered good places to look for good signs of ancient life. And I do have a recall of being here in a high-rise building, nonetheless. It's the same color of the stones of the earth, or the whatever you would call this, built up into you know, a mega city, and it did exist, and I have memories of it. And so here, they're just saying that they could probably find remnants of that, and they probably would. There's a lot that they haven't quite shared with us, but talking about Mars having super salty water is interesting. And here's just another update. Advice to Bezos, Branson, read the room, Blue Origin, and a lot of these corporations involved in space travel. And, you know, Peter and I have been talking about the corporations having a major impact on what happens in our reality. And everyone, a lot of people have been questioning it, but as you can see, look who's going into space. It's the corporations. Anyone that has lots of money is jumping into the game. The combination of 2019-2016 file photo shows Jeff Bezos with a model of Blue Origin's Blue Moon lunar lander in Washington, D.C., and Richard Branson with his Virgin Galactic's spaceship to space tourism rocket in Mojave, California. Here they are. With Richard Branson and Jeff Bezos planning their first trips to space as dangerous heat waves intensify, some people suspect the billionaires are planning futures off the planet. Not going to happen, says Sim Kern in an essay at Salon. As a sci-fi writer and spouse of NASA flight controller, let me assure you that the rich escaping the Earth for a space utopia is only the trope in fiction, Kern writes, noting that life in the International Space Station, the most comfortable living situation we've ever devised above Earth orbit, is very long way from luxurious, and crews are only able to survive with the help of thousands of experts problem solving on Earth. Kern notes that the ISS astronauts have to exercise 2 hours a day just to stop their bones going to goo, and that Scott Kelly, after a lifetime training to be an astronaut, found his record-breaking year in space physically and psychologically grueling, and retired when he returned. So rest assured, Bezos and Branson will not be sipping champagne next to their space pool on a low Earth Mar-a-Lago. Kern writes, for all wealth, billionaires do not have the power to make space a more comfortable place to be than the Earth. Kern describes the billionaires, including Elon Musk, whose Mars colony plans are astronomically less feasible, as egoistical robber barons who made their money in a system that is rapidly destroying the planet we live on. Branson and Bezos aren't investing their money to forward science or expand their bounds of human possibility, Kern writes. They're going to be the first rich guy to bounce around uselessly up there. They're not going to say what's going on and the level of advancements, and I literally do not believe what this Sim Kern is saying. I will tell you that I do find this very interesting, and if you listen to some of my sessions with Jimmy, There is someone that shows up by the name of Sim. Or Nim. It was Nim. But it feels pretty similar. It feels pretty similar. It was an android and communicating to us regarding the Detroit Becomes Human experience because of the android infiltration into certain regions. But yeah, they're not going to inform us. They're not going to let us know the level of what they're doing. But it does seem interesting that Elon Musk is selling all of his property. So why would someone that has access to everything that they could want suddenly look like they're taking off somewhere? And these billionaires as well, you know, obviously looking for their longevity and presence in the future, which I believe they are the influencers of potentially, this is my feeling, potentially the corporations that we are struggling with now that have come back in time to manipulate our reality. Here's space news. NASA awards contract to Northrop Grumman to build Gateway module. Another corporation stepping in. It's called Halo. Sounds like a video game, doesn't it? It's based on Cygnus spacecraft with Northrop Grumman. Uses to transport cargo to the International Space Station, but extensively modified with docking ports, enhanced life support, and other new subsystems. And this is, like I said, this is the information that they're providing to us of some of the advancements of what they're doing. But very, very fascinating, interested in kind of creating all sorts of satellites around us, surveillance cameras everywhere, able to reach and find anyone at any location, pretty much locking down the planet, and then elite groups, corporations taking off. How to watch Virgin Galactic launch billionaire Richard Branson to space on Sunday. And here it is if you want to watch it. That was July 11th, which is tomorrow. So there's the information. There's the crew. Let's see. See if we can get a picture of the crew here. There he is. It's Richard Branson. Another immediate event. Meanwhile, here's SciTech Daily. NASA space lasers discover new lakes under Antarctica. For those of you that follow a lot of what's going on in Antarctica and the Nordics and so forth, civilizations and so forth that have been there. Yeah, so they show, you know, the laser capability as something that in a positive light, but imagine in a negative light. And then it becomes a directed energy weapon, which was, I believe it was a Tesla technology. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but he actually presented that as opposed to the atomic bomb that was being brought forth from, I believe, Einstein. So, all right, so here is from iHeart. I guess UFO stops traffic in South Carolina. We'll take a look at this. A young girl by the name of Shanika Joyner and a woman named Shanika Joyner, her young daughter named India, who went to drive in Goose Creek, South Carolina last week, and they didn't know this has just sort of happened. And so the little girl starts talking and everything, but you can see, you just watch it. Does look like something interesting there. And the little girl, I believe, is holding the camera, and she sees that it is something unusual. And, you know, asking if this is a ship. And then it turns a little bit unnaturally, at least not like a regular plane would turn, turning sideways. And that's a close-up of it. There it is. I can, so we'll go back here. Is that a craft? Is that debris? What is that? It's turning unnaturally. Floating. Cloud around it could be masked. There it is. Meanwhile, we have assassination of the Haitian president Jovenel Moïse. Could be one more excuse for war. Bringing in more tensions. Shocking assassination of Haitian President Jovenel Moïse, who this week has produced one plot twist after another and laid bare the fact that the U.S. seems to have no idea what to do about Haiti. This story is extraordinary, and it doesn't seem to quite add up at the moment. So the Daily Beast, Nico Hines in Friday the World this week. I don't think we're getting the full story yet, and it may be weeks or even months before we do find out. Yeah, I think there's definitely more behind this story, and I guess we'll find out what it is. Okay, here's another article that talks about some of the commodities and things that we need. We don't think about it very often, but, you know, having tires for our cars. I've heard of people having problems just getting parts for their vehicle because the price has gone up, and even it's harder to get certain things. And so that has been an ongoing threat. So here's another, you know, it's an interesting article. Gonna move on forward. This is the Epoch Times. Pelosi's husband bought up to 11 million of big tech stocks. Well, you know, we know that they know where things are going. They're always a step ahead of everyone else, and ready to take over whatever they need to take over. And it's been pretty evident in the past 2 years that Nancy Pelosi is screaming for power and is getting what she wants. And I don't know when it's going to be the time where that ends, but, you know, the combination of her and her husband looks like they're, you know, have all the insider knowledge to do the things that they're doing. Epoch Times also has an article here talking about the CCP developing AI technology aiming for world military domination. This is another interesting article that we'll have there for people to review. More than 25% are related to artificial intelligence. And, you know, we were aware of this, but here are some articles to confirm what's been going on. Okay, so this is One American News Network. German region to fine Tesla for illegal construction. So apparently Elon Musk had purchased some property in Germany, and it was near, I guess, let's see, the German region authority said that it is preparing to fine Tesla for illegal building activity in the site of its planned new car factory near Berlin. The Environment Ministry from Brandenburg, the state that surrounds Berlin and which the factory will be located, had found that Tesla had constructed tanks on the territory for which it had no authorization, wrote Tagesspiegel newspaper, which first reported the find. The company was banned from using the tanks and it had already built, and the newspaper added Tesla was not immediately available for comment. So I thought that was interesting, just to let you know that some people are not going to make it easy for him. Here's another thing that's going on, and this probably is more of an article for the Children's Voice, and maybe we'll do something on that, getting you updated with what's happening with the target and attack on children these days. New York Times blasted for defending pornography literacy for the first graders. And it says these people are sick and need to be institutionalized or incarcerated. Concerned parents and media critics swatted the New York Times on Thursday after the newspaper heralded Justine Ng Font, a New York teacher who recently became infamous for a sexual education curriculum for children and young adults, as a sex-positive educator, and calling her lessons pornography literacy. For 7 years, Font was the director of health and wellness in the Dalton School in the Upper East Side of Manhattan, and in May she was invited to teach 2 Zoom lessons on pornography literacy and consent to juniors and seniors in the Columbia Grammar School, not high school, not middle school, junior high, but grammar school, which is very, very much underage children, which I would think would be, just the conversations alone would be illegal, you know, in any other normal society. But now it's becoming normal for these discussions. These discussions should be privy to a parent and their child, and teaching them how to protect themselves, not to be open and to be learning and prepping for something else. So my thoughts on this is that, I guess this is my opinion. People have a right to disagree with me, but what are they training these children for? They're not training them for education. They're not training them to have any type of specific career per se. It seems like they're training them for the sex industry. And with the expectation maybe that the adults won't be around, kind of like previous mud floods. So this shouldn't be ignored. These type of things are going on, and while everyone's upset about we're getting hit from all different directions. So interesting. I guess this is the teacher, and I'm not sure what her need is for being involved in everyone's children and making sure they're well trained in sex. But maybe it's like a part of the UN agenda. Wells Fargo confirms it's shutting down all the personal lines of credit. That also people should know. This is Epic Times. This doesn't affect bank-issued credit cards. Banks suggest will no longer be offering personal lines of credit, and will shut down all existing personal lines of credit for customers. That's interesting. I don't know what the reason is, but I thought we should point that out. Here is something positive, I guess. Tencent's Pony Ma promotes tech for good at Shanghai AI conference as China's big tech incurs Beijing's wrath. So I would like to, we were supposed to be able to have advanced technology to use for the betterment of humanity and for the planet, and technology that wouldn't harm anyone, that wouldn't harm anything organic, natural, animal life, human life. And so I do believe that there are people out there that have good intentions. And when I'm talking about rulers from different nations, I know completely that they do not represent the masses, in that on many of their agendas, the masses are not in agreement, but they don't have any say. And so it's just, I always want to remind people that there are good people in every walk of life, and we should be open to what they have to say. So, here's Moss spoke about his company's collaboration with the National Astronomical Observatory to search for new stars, and repeated the slogan "Tech for Good." And his appearance at the AI conference, even only via audio, could be a signal that he is in Beijing's good graces. So, I mean, you never know. And Tencent, the social media and gaming giant, is not the subject of any publicity announced antitrust probe, although it is reportedly is being probed for possible monopoly behavior, and Beijing may block its planned merger of live streaming giants Douyu, and according to separate reports from Reuters. And it's an interesting article. I brought this in because, we've talked about human hybrids and other types of hybrids, crossbreeds. Peter's talked about them all the time, having a huge influence on our planet. Here's an article from Ancient Origins, and I got this from the Super Sleuth, and this is January 30th, 2017. Here's a question: were the Merovingians descended from the monster? Meet the Quinator. You've probably heard of the Minotaur, half man, half bull. But what about the Quinator? In early Frankish history, there was a beast of Neptune, which was said to look like a creature called a Quinator. This mysterious mythical only appeared in one text, but he was said to have fathered a line of kings whose descendants still survive today and even made an appearance in the Da Vinci Code. I believe they were also in The Matrix, too, the Merovingian. This story involved the Franks, a Germanic tribe, whose descendants eventually migrated to and ruled parts of what is now modern France, Germany, and Belgium. And in the history of the Frankish people, the cleric Fredegar attributed the founding of its ruling dynasty, the Merovingians, to one guy named Merovech. Gregory of Tours was the first source to mention Merovech, and he doesn't give Merovech a monstrous lineage, instead making him a mortal man who founded a new royal dynasty. Gregory stressed the accomplishments of his descendant, including the son Childeric, rather than giving him an illustrious ancestors. Merovech might be related to a prior king named Clodio, but it's not confirmed. What does this mean? Perhaps Merovech wasn't of noble lineage, but was instead a self-made man. Either way, it seems that Merovech's descendants were of more historical significance than his ancestors. Other sources, like the anonymously penned Liber Historiae Francorum, the book of history of the Franks, explicitly identify Merovech as being related to Clodio. So here is we have another. This is a Quinator. It's a mythical sea creature mentioned in the 7th century, referred to as the beast of Neptune, which resembles Quinator, which made me think of Poseidon, and was held as fathered Merovius by attacking the wife of the Frankish king Clodio, and thus to have sired the line of the Merovingian kings. The name translates to Latin as bull with 5 horns, who attributes to have commonly been interpreted as incorporating symbols of sea god Neptune with his trident and the horns of the mythical bull or minotaur. It is not known whether the legend merged both elements by itself or whether merger should be attributed to the Christian author. The clerical Latiny of the name, not to indicate whether it's translation. There was a story of, I think I was in Crete, and the story of the wife of the king of Crete, and she had sex with the Minotaur. And intercourse with the white bill initially allotted to King Minos, Pasiphae's husband, as a sacrifice for Poseidon. She did this for Poseidon, or in connection with Poseidon, and this is the hybrid crossbreed that are affecting our planet today. And people don't believe this, but it is something that we should not ignore, that their influence, including we talk about Chiron, and Chiron's also part of some of the video game Observer, and he is a ruler of this AI reality, but also recognized and known from ancient history and the ancient Greek myths, or ancient Greek history, if you want to call it that. We talked about Atlantean beings that was tampered, combining animals. There are many that we could research, and here we have okay, the last story, I'm just going to leave this for you to look at. This is a cyber polygon that's going on right now regarding Klaus Schwab. I'm going to leave this for you to look at. What is the cyber polygon? Cyber polygon is a unique cybersecurity event that combines the world's largest technical training for corporate teams, an online conference featuring senior officials from international organizations and leading corporations. Every year the training begins, and together in a wide range. So take a look at that link. I really don't feel like I should be posting that right now, but I want you to know what's going on. Very important. Thank you so much for listening today, and have a good day. Thanks for your support, and don't forget to subscribe.
You have been listening to Andronetalks Radio. Join us on YouTube channel Jessica Arael Morocco, and visit our website at www.readingsbyarael.com.